welcome back to reading The Vortex, and we are up to part 1, Your Vortex. And here we are up to flawed premise number 2. My parents, because they were here long before I was born, and because they are my parents, know better than I do what is right or wrong for me. You did not intend to use the opinions of your parents to measure against your beliefs or actions in order to determine the appropriateness of them. Instead, you knew, and still remembered long after you were born, that it was the relationship between the opinion or knowledge of the source within you and your current thoughts in any moment that would offer you perfect guidance in the form of emotions. You did not intend to replace your emotional guidance system with the opinions of your parents, even if they were in harmony with their emotional guidance system in the moment of their trying to guide you. It was much more important to you to recognize the existence of your own guidance system and to utilize it than to be deemed correct by or to find approval from others. Much of the imbalance that people feel long after they leave the immediate environment of their childhood home stems from the impossible effect of replacing their own guidance system by seeking approval from their parents. Your feeling of freedom is trampled whenever you try to align with the opinion of someone outside of you, that is, your parents, rather than aligning with the vibration that comes forth from within you, that is, your inner being. Of course, it is possible to have a wonderful, effective relationship with your parents if you first find the alignment between you and you, the higher self, the inner being. But unless you have achieved alignment between you and you, no other relationship can be a good one. So, that just reiterates more of what we were talking about with what we thought about. But this idea about freedom and this concept of finding or looking for approval from your parents is really insidious and really can permeate all parts of how you deal with everything in the 3D. And then who else you look for approval for and what sort of patterns your relationships become because you are looking to go back and achieve that first approval. And the remedy of that is simple. It is to strengthen your emotional guidance system so that you can strengthen your relationship between you and you. And that's all. You just need to go back to that. You need to go back to that emotional guidance system, and you need to be working on nourishing the kinds of emotions that you really want to have. Now let's look here about your relationship with your siblings. Whether you were the first child your parents welcomed into your childhood home, or if you came after another who was already there, multiple children certainly can change the dynamics of your parental relationships. In most relationship settings, the more people involved, the more the possibility that personal misalignment will occur. But that does not have to be the case. Often, the family dynamics are as follows. Your mother and father have not been consciously aware of their own guidance systems, and so they do not offer to themselves or to each other consistent patterns of alignment. They often believe that it is up to you to alter your behavior in order to positively affect their experience. So, not long after you have settled into their life experience, they attempt to train you into patterns of behavior that they have deemed favorable. But they are attempting the impossible. Instead of achieving their alignment with who they really are, they are asking you to behave in a way that makes them feel better. That is what conditional love is. If you will change your behavior or condition, then as I observe it, I will feel better. So I am giving you the responsibility for the way I feel. When the second child enters the mix, not only is there now more behavior for your parents to attempt to control, but an even more confusing thing occurs for you. Now, not only are you considering your own behavior in relationship to your parents' response to what you are doing, but you are observing the way your parents are responding to the behavior of the other child. The potential for distortion and confusion exponentially expands with each new person who enters the mix. Trying to achieve your proper personal behaviour is not possible through trying to adjust to the desires and demands of the people you live with. There is simply too much variety in personality, interest, intention, and life purpose coming in for you to sort it out on a behaviour level. But there is something you can do that will bring each of these relationships into perspective and satisfaction for you. Seek alignment between you and you first before you engage with any other. And never ask for a behavioural change from any other to use as your basis of improved emotion or perspective. There are simply too many moving parts and you will not succeed. Okay, so that's really interesting, and even though it's like quite a short description, I think it really explains very clearly what most of us have experienced, especially growing up with siblings and watching, especially if you're quite observant about relationship dynamics and that sort of thing, then you were very sensitive to that in the first place, and it would have been very confusing. I know it was for me. And I know it has left me with a lot of confusion and a lot of wrong conclusions drawn. But while that's nice to understand and important to understand, and you can spend many hours in therapy working on understanding it, at the end of it all, here's the solution. You seek alignment between you and your higher self first. And you never ask for a behavioural change so that you can feel a certain way. And I would say in general, you just never look for a change of any kind. You never ask for any change of any kind in 3D so that you'll feel better. That has to be an energetic inside job first. Does that mean you can't ask people for things? Of course, you must ask people for things. And depending on where you are, asking for what you want might actually be part of the process of seeking alignment between you and you in the first place. Because you might be so separated that you even deny yourself. But you can ask, but without expectation. So you can ask for something, but if you have all your intention on that thing happening so that you can feel better, don't do that. And instead, return to yourself and seek that feeling to be generated between you and you. I'm sure we're going to go a lot more into that in this book. We're only at the beginning about finding out the how and the why of doing all of that. I'll see you back here for the next part.